I always talk about this idea of mental growth in a pretty vague and slightly ambiguous way. The mental growth and mental capacity reprogram your mind where your mind wants to stop. Even more stress on my mind. Mental performance, mental dexterity, mental growth. So I want to share with you some of my mindsets that I've developed over the years that have helped me conquer things like anxiety, motivation, contentment with life, and even my overall happiness, because this life can be pretty amazing. If we peel back a layer from people's actions and behaviors, we're going to quickly discover a pretty immense root system as to why those behaviors actually exist. In other words, most of our actions are merely the fruit of our mindsets, or just the way we think. What we must also remember is that our mindsets and our actions are kind of like this revolving door, one affecting the other, and it's constantly turning, creating our experience of life and how we act and react to any given situation. Now, if we live in a continual state of complacency, going through life, letting it unfold, life is going to happen to us, and along with it, a change in our thinking and our actions. Much of this we don't have a ton of control over because we're complacent. We don't really care. So what I want to share with you today are 5 intentional mindset shifts, as well as actions that go with those mindset shifts that can help you to learn and grow into these new ways of thinking, with the ultimate goal of bettering your life and making you a more amazing person, because we all want to be more amazing, don't we? I believe that life and really enjoying life starts and ends with a constant willingness to learn and grow. We're all out here thinking that we're going to get to some destination, but over the years I've realized that every accomplishment and every destination that I've reached, it was subsequently followed by, now what? I did my 5 weeks challenge about 6 weeks ago and got super low body fat, and then like a week later, I was like, now what do I do? And we've even heard the cliche saying, life's not about the destination, but it's about the journey you're on. But to me, that's kind of vague. And while I do agree with it, I believe that journey looks like a constant state of learning and growth, because this is a big world, and our human existence and world existence is incredibly complex and something we're all constantly trying to figure out. And I don't even know that we'll ever have it figured out. Now, here's the biggest, most life-changing aspect of this willingness to learn, is that it gives you a new perspective on things like failure, conflict, stress, and tension. A lot of times we look at these things as just a negative aspect of our lives that we have to deal with, and it stops there. But through this new mindset, all of those negative things now become things that can teach us something, and something we can learn from. The other amazing thing is when you take this mindset and apply it to your relationships, it will do wonders for the relationships that you're in, because when you experience tension with another person from this mindset, you realize that this disagreement or whatever this conflict is simply something that I need to learn about the other person that I don't know already. They have a certain perspective that I don't quite understand yet, and so it's an opportunity to learn about that person and learn about how they think. And this is truly the act of getting to know someone, especially, someone maybe you're in love with or spending your life with. I've applied this mindset with my relationship with Allie, and it makes our marriage so incredible, because even in moments of conflict, we don't really fight a ton, but obviously we have disagreements, and these moments are truly where we just get to grow together, and I get to learn about her and she can learn about me, and we can have conversations. Well, like, why do you think that way? And this is why I think this way. Rewiring the way you view some of those moments of tension are so incredibly important, because then you don't get so riled up and you're not at odds against each other, but you're on the same team, simply learning and growing. This is also a huge reason why I love fitness and working out so much, because those moments of pain when I'm working out and pushing through, they're all moments of growth and learning for me about myself, about how far I can push myself. What I would recommend is just sit down and think about all the things that you do every day, if it's working out or making YouTube videos or photography or just going to the job you work at. How can you constantly improve and get better at those things, and better than the last time you did them, and really pay attention to the nuances and the details that are going to make your workouts better or make your YouTube videos better. I apply this to literally everything I do so that I'm constantly trying to get better and trying to improve. There's never a destination with it. You're just constantly growing. And that's really going to help reprogram your mind to embrace that learning and growth that's just a part of this life. This one is so incredibly important because as humans, we can be completely oblivious to our own selves and our own actions. And it's so crucial that you and I have moments of self-reflection, of self-examination of our actions and our reactions to any given situation. And when you really have these internally honest moments with yourself, you can really start to see like, oh, okay, that's why I acted that way. I'm constantly doing this. Every time I feel conflict or maybe there's tension between Allie and I, a lot of times what I do is end up going into shutdown mode. That's like when I get kind of upset, I just internalize everything, I shut down and I get super quiet. And then usually a few hours go by and I start to think through, well, why am I feeling this way? What's really causing it? And almost like 10 times out of 10, it's never Allie. It's never an external situation. There's something that I'm personally dealing with, or I wanted something to go my way or the way I thought it should go, and it didn't happen that way. It's a lot of times me getting over myself. So what I would recommend you could do to help develop this self-awareness is simply take moments to assess why you react or act in any given situation. And a lot of times these are moments of tension and conflict. If you don't ever do this, you're not going to grow from it and you're just going to be a grumpy old person. Please don't become this person. Your anger, your bitterness, your grumpiness is only going to melt you away and turn you into a dusty old fart. Who wants to be angry? Who wants to go through life and just be upset all the time or just deal with stress and tension without digging a little bit deeper and figuring out, well, why is this here? Like, I don't want to live with this anymore. Just be ignorantly blissful. Just keep your head stuck right in the sand and you're just gonna live a happy life. Really though, are you? I'd like to disagree with this quite a bit. When you embrace a willingness to constantly learn and grow, you quickly realize how much stuff you're actually ignorant to. And these are the things that are keeping you from a better life. For example, one of the biggest things for me was when I started this whole fitness journey, I started tracking my food and I started really examining even my relationship with alcohol and how much I was drinking. And when I started realizing the nutritional value of food and the caloric value of some of the foods I was eating, as well as how much I was actually drinking, it was shocking. Like, it was so eye-opening just looking at those things. And for pretty much my whole life, I had had my head completely in the sand, never looking at nutrition facts, just thinking, yeah, it's food, it tastes good, give me more of it. Yeah, it's booze, it makes me feel good in the moment, just throw it back. And I was really living in that state of complacency where life was just kind of happening to me and I was eating horribly, drinking more than I should, and I got to a point where I was like, what am I doing? I don't feel good. Like, I don't have the energy I used to have. And maybe for you, it's not about tracking food or how much you drink. Maybe those aren't your issues, but maybe you're spending too much money. Maybe you don't look at your bank account enough. Maybe you need to go to the doctor and get blood work done. Whatever it might be, it's so much easier in the moment to just ignore things, to just say, I don't even want to think about that right now. I'd rather be ignorantly blissful, until it comes to a breaking point where you're like, I should probably take a look at this and see what's going on. It's such a wild paradox that we live in because we're afraid of the answers, but those answers are going to be what's actually going to better our lives. So it's pretty simple what you can do every single day to help get your head out of the sand and stop being so ignorant to some things is just look at what you are ignoring. Maybe it is nutrition facts, or maybe it is your bank account, or maybe you should go see a doctor. Start somewhere, and I promise you, just having that information is going to probably lead to some amazing changes in your life. I know for me, I grew up pretty ignorant even just about alcohol, and since I started my fitness journey, I hardly drink anymore. But a few weeks ago, I actually watched a video by a guy, Dr. Andrew Huberman, and he completely laid out alcohol and how it impacts your body from a very objective point of view. And I'm actually going to link that below because I think alcohol is a huge thing that people like to just be ignorant about, drink it habitually, week in, week out. I've definitely been there myself, and it's not a healthy substance. It's so normalized in our culture. Every sporting event, any date on a calendar, it's Friday, you're on vacation, where's the booze? And it's crazy because it kills a lot of people. It destroys a lot of relationships. It destroys your own brain. It's so harmful to you, and people think it's just like this fun thing, which I do understand. Again, I've been there and I do understand the fun part of it, but the long-term detriment of it far outweighs whatever momentary fun you're having with it. I'm definitely not going to sit here and tell you what to do in terms of alcohol. That's not the point of this video, but if you want to watch that video and come to your own conclusions, I definitely would recommend it. When you realize that you can't control what other people do, it is one of the most liberating things. I've dealt with a ton of anxiety on other people that were close to me that I wanted to see them make better choices with their life, and it got to a point where I was like, why am I spending so much stress, losing sleep, when at the end of the day, I cannot control what another person does. Now, this can be very hard when it's those people that you love and really care about and want to see them excel and grow in healthier and better ways. But I'm not someone's hero. I can have a hard conversation if I need to. I would definitely recommend that. If you've got someone that you love in your life that, you know, you're wishing they would make better choices or whatever it is, have the hard conversation if you need to. Do it in a loving way and then say, okay, that's that, and I can't control them. You have to come to that resolve. One of the things that I do when I find myself really trying to control what anyone else is doing is I take a step back and I simply just breathe for a second. And I remind myself that I cannot control their actions or behavior, but I can control mine. And the more you practice this simple thing, the more you're liberated from this idea that you are in debt to this person in some way that you've created in your own head. Like I owe you some kind of life fix. And you don't. You don't. I know that seems simple, but there's a lot of you who need to hear that. I constantly need to hear this. This one I think is really massive. Actively practicing contentment. And this really does start in the mind. And it seems like in this day and age, we're just over consuming. We're constantly needing some stimulus or needing a drink. We're needing to look at our phone. We're needing the validation of notifications. I like to call this living in a surplus. I think this can get to a point where it becomes detrimental, because when you live like this, you wire your brain to think you constantly need something to feel happiness, to get that dopamine release, to get that serotonin release. Why? Why do we always need something? It's pretty crazy that we've become this as a society. Some of the happiest moments of my life, to be honest, have been when I've lived in a deficit, when I've lived with less. And I'm not telling you like, well, just go eat less or starve yourself or something to feel like you're happy. That's not the point of this. But what I'm trying to say is that within those moments, I realized like I have what I need just right here. I don't need to look outwards for something else to like fill some void that I think I have. And when you live with less, your mind and your body adapt to being content with simply what you have. And this makes you such a happier person. So that's really what you can do to help develop this mindset shift, is just take time out of your day to reflect on what you already have. And when you have urges of like, oh, I need to look at my phone or I need to go reach for a beer or something, be mindful of those urges and say, oh, hang on, do I really need this right now? You have to be acutely intentional in those moments. We think of these mindset shifts as just like, it's just gonna happen. But it's those individual moments where you're mindful of it and then you actively practice that contentment. You actively practice like, no, I don't need that right now. I'm just gonna chill for a second. That's when your mind starts to then adapt to what you have without looking for something else. I promise you, if you start learning and growing with these mindsets, you are going to find yourself in a very, very happy place. These are things that I really live by, and I'm telling you right now, I have not mastered any of these. I'm going to be constantly growing in these until I'm gone. Like, this is truly something I'm embracing, that's exciting, that keeps me motivated to be a better person. Also, I would love to hear what kind of mindsets have helped you along the way in your journey. Let's have an amazing discussion in the comments about some of those mindsets. Let me know. I would love to hear it. I really want to be able to create a space and create a community that embraces this idea of learning and growth. And we're never going to get to a point where it's like, yep, We made it, so we're done, because I think that's the moment you die. Even if you haven't died, I think when you stop learning and growing, you kind of cease to exist. Maybe that's a little too deep, but take that for what it is. Well, friends, thank you so much for watching this one. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I've got lots of good stuff for you linked in the description. Definitely check it all out. And if you need good music for your videos, definitely go to moodsounddesign.com. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace. Yo, what up? What's good? You guys like the new setup? Do you like the brick? This is my new office. This is where I work now, just in my bed. No, that's not true. It's false. It's a lie. That's a lie. All right, let's get into the beef of this one here. What we must also remember. Wow, that's a mouthful. What we must also remember. Those things are all moments where. All of those negative things are now, and then